yogis, Katy here at my studio Body and Shine Wellness in Elgin, Texas. This video we are going to focus on building core strength that you might use in inversions or arm balances while you're transitioning from down dog to the top of your mat, so jumping or floating forward. So that's what we'll be working on, and we'll get started here in just a second. All right, yogis, so for this one, you really don't need much. If you kind of are afraid of falling maybe, or face planting, if jumping forward scares you, you could always place a blanket or a pillow at the top of your mat, but honestly, I haven't seen too many like somersaults with this, so if anything, you might lose your balance for a second or over jump a little bit, but I think the odds of you face planting are fairly minimal. But if it helps you to have a blanket or a pillow up at the front of your mat, you can have one. So the idea with this is from your down dog, we want to engage those low belly muscles, like those hip points, the V shape right above there, those kind of muscles in your pelvic floor to help you lift your hips up from your down dog, jumping forward to the top of your mat, landing lightly. I'm just kind of talking you through it before I give you a visual so that you can see what I'm talking about maybe a little more easily, and I won't have to explain it while I'm trying to do it, which helps me save my breath and actually do it a little bit better. But you want to think about taking yourself up and then forward. So instead of just jumping feet forward, point A to point B, think about sending your hips up and then landing softly at the top of your mat. So that's gonna help you build those muscles for when you're ready to jump up into handstand or forearm stand or things like that. So it'll just give you a little bit more control in your landing too. So what I mean by that is, if I'm just landing, if I'm traveling from point A to point B, I'm just jumping forward, okay? So I'm very flat, my hips are pretty much at the same level the whole time, and it kind of is a little bit of a noisy, like not graceful landing, okay? Because it's just flat point A to point B, little to no core engagement. So if I'm actually using my core, what I'm gonna do from my down dog is bend my knees a little bit, especially if I have tay hamstrings, which I do. Hug my low belly in and up, sending my tail a little higher. So already my hips are going up, which is the direction I want them to go in. I want to look where I want to land. So kind of in between my thumbs towards the top of my mat. And then I'm going to send my hips high and land soft. So trying to like get a little bit of float or hang time on the way down. It's probably not going to be the most graceful thing in the world to start, and you might not make it all the way to the top, but even if we only make it halfway, 3/4 of the way, trying to control it on the way down, and then just taking a step or two to the top of your mat is great, but finding that control of your core, so eventually getting a little bit more hang, landing nice and soft. So I like to call it like a yoga ninja, right? So you're trying to not make sound as you land. So that's the idea. So when you're in down dog and your teacher is asking you to step or hop or float to the top of your mat, that's what they're talking about. So if you're wanting to add in a little bit of extra core, if you're wanting to prime your body or your practice to get more comfortable for inversions, using that opportunity to transition from the back to the front of your mat by floating, landing softly, sending your hips high. So great thing to practice anytime, any class you want, help you get stronger along the way. Let me know how it goes, and if you have any other requests, be sure to leave me a comment. Thanks, guys.